You're inside the locker room on Smooth 98.1. It's all about sports. Tega and Zibby, as always, with you this beautiful, almost cold morning.
Almost cold in the studio, but good morning, everybody. Fantastic day to talk about sports. So first of all, I just want to say I had the ad for the ladies in sports conference. I just wanted you all to know. It's next
Mm,
week, oh, ZB, and it's three outfits,
yes.
oh. It's
Three
three.
outfits.
Yes, there's the gym outfit for the fifth, there's a dinner outfit for the sixth, and there's a formal outfit for the seventh, the
All right.
conference
You know
itself.
I'm always prepared. I'm ready.
So all those
Let's
your
go.
nice gym outfits that you have that you
Yes,
propose to wear in the future. The future is the 5th of June.
indeed. I shall
All
be
right.
there.
On that note, I want to welcome everybody to the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. What we'll be talking about today? Yes, what is happening in the NBA playoffs. We'll talk about that. We'll touch on the French Open. Nothing major yet, but good stories all around. We'll also be talking about transfer. I've told you the best job to have. People should trade away all those your dirty certificates. Go and get your FRB license. The best job to have
Wow.
is a coaching job. If they fire you today, they will hire you tomorrow for more money. So
It's
we'll talk
true.
about all the changes happening in football coaching. But before we do all that, Zibi, tell us, how can we be a part of the locker room this morning?
Well, it's very easy. All you need to do is catch the live stream. All right. We're streaming live on YouTube, Smooth 981. That's the channel. And you can catch it and post a comment on there. You can also send us messages via WhatsApp 0809 4440981. And you can also tweet at Smooth981. And don't forget, you can X us or tweet us at Smooth981. Sometimes you just have to say it twice, like Okocha.
All right, so let's go through the headlines and then we take the stories one after the other.
2026 FIFA WCO. Osimhen out of South Africa Benin Republic clashes. Sabalenka and Rybakina make swift progress in Paris. Celtics into NBA Finals with clean sweep against the Pacers. Ineos confident of Man United Nice Europa League solution. Courtois misses out on Belgium Euro 2024 squad. What? Chelsea eye Enzo Maresca as new manager. Marshall confirms departure from Man United. Rominigi, I'm sorry, Tega, what is that name?
Karl-Heinz Rummenigge
All right,
is
that
German.
name almost sounds offensive. Anyways, says company on verge of joining Bayern Munich. Those are the
Um,
headlines.
can you hear? Right. So let's start from the World Cup qualifiers and all the toll that injuries have taken on our players.
Victor. Well, Victor Osimhen has been rolled out to the Super Eagles' forthcoming 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying games against South Africa and Benin Republic. Sega?
All right. So yes, we were busy worried about how the qualifiers were going to turn out for Nigeria. And like I said, we started on the wrong foot. We already had two draws against two of the supposedly weak teams in the group. And next up, we are facing South Africa. Remember when we faced them at AFCON, how tough it was for Nigeria to beat them. But yeah, so now we are going to face them in the World Cup qualifier, and we are already on the back foot. So it's an uphill climb from here on out, only for us to hear that some of our lethal strikers are not available, and that's so painful. I know Victor Osimhen did manage to conclude the Napoli season, but he's obviously struggling with something. Um generally miss he wouldn't generally miss the Nigerian match like that. So tough one. But again, the way that the list that George Finidi brought out earlier on was already top heavy. I think the place people were worried about was the midfield. So Victor Osimhen missing out doesn't mean that it's not a big deal, because at the end of the day, you want your best players to be available to you. It's just that that particular position on the Super Eagles team, there is a plethora of replacements. You can switch formation. In fact, you can switch like 3 or 4 formations with the forwards Nigeria has. So, as big news as this is, it is something that can be worked out. And so, good one for Finidi George reacting. And well, won't you know, but he replaced, Victor Osimhen got injured. He's replacing him with a fullback. Oga, like I said, the team is already top heavy. Cannot be inviting another forward where you have already a plethora of forwards. So let's see how it works out for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. That game is also on the same day with the Ladies in Sports Conference. Funny. 7th of June. So after the conference, we'll conference to watch the Super Eagles. But yeah, let's see how it works out for the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
All right. Let's move on and on to the courts this time. Arena Sabalenka dropped just 3 games against teenager Erika Andriva to start her French Open campaign in, well, rather emphatic style.
This is a tough one for Erika. I will say this. But Erika is going to be, unfortunately, from the way it's looking, Erika is going to be the Venus Williams of the sisters. So Erika has a sister called Mira, who is younger, but obviously better, higher ranked, and all of that. And ironically, if whether you talk to Erika, whether I talk to Mira, sorry, or Serena, they will tell you that, oh, when they started playing tennis, it was the way that their older sister used to play with such grace and used to win that made them get into tennis. So we know the story of how Serena Williams turned out, right? She became greater than the sister that she always admired. And it's looking like the same thing for Erika because Mira, like I said, plays better or gets better results. Erika is the graceful one, the way she arranges her hair, the way she walks on court, even her tantrums are very gracious. I'm like, girl, that's not a tantrum. If you're going to throw a tantrum, throw a racket. Let's see something. But she's very gracious. But Erika is the one. She also is well, her comportment is great. But she's very competitive. You can see it from the way that she squeezes her nose and her face that she's going to get you. And most in general, she does. And so for a player like Erika coming out to face Arena Sabalenka, of course, she would have been looking at what her younger sister have done, going deep into Grand Slams, going deep into Masters, and thinking that, you know what, if my younger sister can do that, I can do that. Well, that's not true. That's just motivational speech there. And the Grand Slam is not the time for motivational speech, it's the time for results. And so she steps on court, plays her best tennis against Arena Sabalenka, and she's just swept aside. Sad one for Erika, but great for Arena Sabalenka. A good way to start the tournament with a convincing win. You can build confidence from that. And like she said in Rome Masters, she's aiming to get to the final and even win the trophy. So this is a good start for her. Also, Rybakina had a smooth sailing yesterday too, getting through the first round. But most of the seeds have come through, apart from, some seeds have followed by the way, like Serena Castella, but most in general, the women you expect to make it through have made it through. On the men's side, Novak Djokovic played yesterday and he won his match in straight sets against a qualifier, a French qualifier. So the crowd was against him. And Novak Djokovic, he thrives on booze. So as they're booing him, he was beating their guy.
That's
but
the
yeah,
definition of as they paid him.
it's sweet as they paid them. But it was a good match to start for him. But Rafa Nadal did not have the same outcome. In fact, I think if you set up for Rafa Nadal against Sasha Zverev and you expected Rafa Nadal to win, I think I just want to say you are Delulu. Because even Rafa Nadal knew that in his 38-year-old body that is breaking down, he was never going to beat Sasha Zverev. Straight set loss. But it was all the people that came into the crowd. You can tell there's a farewell tour because he's playing his tennis and there are players in the crowd watching him. Like this may be the last time we'll see him. So we saw Carlos Alcaraz, we saw Iga Swiatek taking videos. Even Novak Djokovic was in the crowd. We saw Rodri of Manchester City. So, the Spanish crowd was there to bid him farewell. And I was just like, this is so nice, seeing great players and great athletes from other sports. Even seeing Hollywood stars talk about, doing the farewell tour for Rafa Nadal. But yeah, that's what it is now. the farewell tour for Rafa Nadal.
All right. So I see a comment coming through on YouTube, and it's from LK Adirawan. He says, I don't know if Tega has commented on Peter Crouch's unfortunate statement with regards to Lukman. It shows how these people look down on us and don't regard us. I blame the likes of Tammy, Izzy, and Tamori. Please, what did that stick insect say about Ademola
Just
Lukman?
want to say you can't be blaming Tammy and the rest. You can't blame people, one person for another person's behavior. That's quite unfortunate. But I would say this too. Peter Crouch has come out to deny that statement, that he didn't say that. But what he had, what the report was saying was that Peter Crouch had said that if Adebola Lookman were a little bit patient, then maybe he would have played for the England national team. And I was like, to what purpose? It's not like you're winning anything. But that's not the issue. But you know that Ademola Lookman, British, moved around a lot in England before he finally really. I mean, a lot of people, considering his pace and the way he played, knew that
Tega?
they were potential, but that potential. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear
Zibby?
you. Yes,
Zibby,
yes, we
can you
can
hear
hear you.
me? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that potential, yeah, that potential came to fruition when he left England, and so Peter Crouch coming to make that kind of statement that he should, if he was patient to wait would have played for England, as if England is one better opportunity than Nigeria, is the one that really offended people. But he's come out to deny it. The fact that he can deny it, whether he really said it originally or not, shows that he knows that he was in the wrong. But yeah, you always hear people say that their countryside is more superior than any African side. Unfortunately, that's not always true. It's one of the reasons I rooted for Senegal when they defeated France. Even if I loved Zinedine Zidane, I was like, just defeat your colonial masters. Let them know. Let them know.
Hey, back. All right. And let's move on to the next step. And this one is from the NBA. The Boston Celtics will play in the NBA Finals after wrapping up a clean sweep in their Eastern Conference semifinal series against the Indiana Pacers.
I think this one was more disappointing on the Indiana Pacers side. Don't get me wrong. I don't know many people that didn't expect Celtics to win. Celtics are the best team in the NBA so far. People expected them to defeat Indiana Pacers. It's a fact that it was a sweep. Yeah, they're sweeping you in the conference finals. That's just not complimentary. And there were too many games that Indiana Pacers could have just nicked at least one. And at the end of the day, it came down the stretch and they lost it. So I think that's a disappointment. Disappointment is not that the Celtics have made it through to the finals. They were expected to. The disappointment is that Pacers were swept and they could have won at least one game there. And so sad one for them, but great one for the Celtics. They've completed. In fact, they spent the least amount of time on court in all of the NBA playoffs. And so they'll be fresh for the finals. If you compare that to the teams that are in the Western Conference Finals, last night it was Timberwolves against Dallas Mavericks, and Timberwolves won. So it's 3-1 now in favor of Dallas Mavericks. Very tough one, I would say, because the Mavericks were playing at home and they should have just wrapped up the season there. But you could tell from the way that the Timberwolves players came out, they're like, we are not going to be swept. We will not be swept. I think there was one particular clip where Anthony was like, look, if we lose today, there's no tomorrow. So we have to put it all on the line. And that's how they played. Last night or early hours of this morning, whichever part of the world you are, didn't really come down to basketball decisions. There were a few basketball decisions, but it didn't really come down to basketball decisions as much as it came down to desperation. They just didn't want to lose. And so they ended up winning that game by 4 points, really. But they have managed, 4 points, have managed to just stay in the tie for the next game, which would be in Minnesota, and they'd have that home court advantage. So let's see how it works out for them.
All right. And you're still listening to Tega. Do you want to do this bit or should I do this bit?
Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it.
All right, you're still listening to the locker room on Smooth 98.1. We see your messages coming through, and we'll take them. And of course, more sports stories on the other side. Like literally doing like 50,000 things at the same time. I'm trying to check the live stream from the morning. I just wanted to watch.
No, no, it just next time, just give me hints.
Okay.
Hint. Well,
Thank you. A way of taking us on a journey, and when you add plenty of vegetables like a pork, with the rich taste of North seasoning cubes. Even better. So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of North cubes. Today, eat for good. Isn't that Polo? He's the one now. Polo has stepped up. Ahead at the top, to step up with the glow cash to win rewards. Recharge 1,000 Naira weekly to qualify to win Glow World gift voucher. Double 5,000 Naira weekly to qualify for Samsung A05 smartphone. Or no, 10,000 Naira weekly to qualify for Samsung A54 smartphone. The more you recharge, the more your chances of winning up to 100 billion in the weekly draw. To start winning, dial that 310 hash now. Enter conditions apply. Who takes the plate of jollof rice to the next level of goodness when it is cooked with non-seasoned cubes for that sumptuous taste? Or when you serve it with correct Nigerian salad, cabbage, carrots, lettuce, and a bit of kidney beans? It's both. Season your jollof with the rich taste of non cubes and serve with plenty of vegetables. So go ahead and elevate your meal. Today, eat for good. Good morning. Can shut the door. It's the locker room on Smooth 98.1. Tega and Zibby. Let's get your thoughts. 0809 440 You can also tweet at Smooth981. We're also streaming live. You can catch the live stream on our YouTube channel. It's Smooth981. And do not forget to subscribe. All right, so Ineos is confident of finding a solution that allows Manchester United and Nice to compete in next season's Europa League.
Okay, so that's a tough one. There's the law. Let's start this law from the scratch. So UEFA's integrity department of the UEFA club competitions have this law that no two clubs or more participating in a UEFA club competition may be directly or indirectly controlled by the same entity or managed by the same person. So that's the law. So if you manage or have direct ownership of two clubs and both of them qualify for the same competition, one of them will have to do jobs. It's the integrity law.
Wow.
It's something that I'm sure something led to this. Something may have happened for this to lead to this. So what it is. Remember that time they said two European countries played against each other and they connived to dump out the African country at the World Cup. It's all those kind of things that could lead
Tega?
to these kind of rules. Sorry, and tricky, but it's the kind of thing that could have happened. So there's that law, and Manchester United, owned by Ineos, also has a brother club side, which is Nice, and they've both qualified for the same competition. So the question is, who will now give up for the other? It has also happened in UEFA Champions League. I think two clubs qualified. It is not the first time it's happening, though. I think it was something including, was it Salzburg, one of those teams, and one of them could not qualify for the same competition. So even if on the pitch they've qualified for the competition, in the boardroom they were disqualified. So these things happen, and so Ineos is trying to find a way. I don't think anything will work out for them. They better decide now who their favorite child is. They better decide one of two things. Either they decide who their favorite child is, or they reduce their percentage somewhere. But they have to decide who is going to have, because I don't know that there's a way around this law being owned by the same body. I don't know. So after Manchester United has struggled and hustled and won the FA Cup, beating their great rivals, you now tell them that they shouldn't go to Europa. Or after Nice has hustled and struggled all season, it seems unfair to one club, but it's the law because of the integrity of the game. And so, like I said, Ineos has to pick who their favorite child is. And whoever gets the shorter end of the stick may not like it.
Oh wow.
But
That
if you
is a
take
very unfair
their
one.
yes, but if you take their money, you have to take their decisions too.
I know where
I'm
they might be
guessing.
leaning towards. Though. At least I think I know where they will be, or where they should be leaning towards.
Yeah, but if
Okay.
you are the one, who would you lean towards?
Are you serious?
You
Like,
wanna lean towards the popular side, guy. It's
of
not even
course.
a thought in the mind.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay. Now, Real Madrid goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois was not included in Belgium's Euro 2024 squad named on Tuesday as he recovers full fitness following a season that's been marred by injury.
I would say this though, it's shocking because I take a Thibaut Courtois that is available. And we do know he's available because he's played a few matches and he's been brilliant in those matches for Real Madrid. So yes, for most of the season he was out with the ACL injury, but he came back, and even Ancelotti is desperate to have him in the final, despite the brilliance of Lunin that has been in goal for Real Madrid. And in these few matches he's played, my goodness, he saved any and everything. So to as a national team Belgium, you didn't even take him as backup. So who did you carry? You better be taking Superman if you're not taking Thibaut Courtois. No, I'm serious because he's tall, he's skillful, he's the guy, he's a leader, he's the guy you want in goal. And so if you watch the last two matches he's played and he's that brilliant, I'd risk him every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So for the Belgian coach to decide that he's not taking Thibaut Courtois, except it was Thibaut Courtois' decision that he wants to go to Cancun, and then that's different.
It's
But
weird to think that Courtois is 32 years old right now. Like he was just a baby when he was at Chelsea.
don't be
It's so
saying that. It
weird.
tells your age. Don't say that. Be quiet
That's true.
about those
That's
things.
true.
Yeah,
Okay.
be
I did
quiet
not say
about
that.
those things.
That's
When you watch Tony Cruz start his career, you watch him retire, begins to tell you where
Oh
you are in
wow.
life.
That is true.
Anyways, so yeah, it's a shocking decision if you ask me from Belgium. Shocking decision that you won't take Thibaut Courtois. If even for his name, just for his name's sake, you should carry him. But for them to drop him is, I would say, maybe there's a story behind it. Maybe Thibaut Courtois.
All right. Let's move on to the next story. Chelsea are
Said I'm
holding.
tired and I want to.
Okay.
Other than that,
Chelsea.
shouldn't.
Okay. Tega, you need to stay with us. Stay with us, Tega. Stay with us.
I'm with you. I'm with you. All right.
Chelsea are holding talks to make Leicester's Enzo Maresca their new head coach, and this is according to the British media.
All right. So yes, there are reports that some of the Chelsea representatives are now having a face-to-face with Maresca. And it's interesting. They're saying that they want to rebuild and they want to start from scratch. They have all these dramatic names they're using, and I don't know. So Maresca was with Pep Guardiola as an assistant coach. And maybe they have seen what's happening in the other side of London with Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. And they're thinking, okay, young, vibrant protege of Pep Guardiola will be the one that will help them defeat. I don't know what informed their decision. And yes, he did do a good job with Leicester City, but the expectations at Leicester is very different from the expectations at Chelsea. The politicking, it's not just about what you do on the pitch, because everything you do on the pitch is influenced by the boardroom, by the media, by even the players themselves, because they can gather in that locker room and decide they don't want you anymore, and that's it. So it's a tougher task, but they're bringing him in. I will say this though, he's Italian, and a, a lot of Italian coaches have been successful at Chelsea. At least success in Chelsea equates bringing trophy, doesn't
And then
equate
getting
longevity.
fired.
It doesn't equate longevity. It's just winning trophy. Yes, longevity is not a an ambition for Chelsea. They don't care about that. They care about trophies. Win and go. Just win. We even
So,
pay you to go, but just win. And so Italian coaches have been successful there. So maybe that also helps. And of course, they'll say what he did with Leicester City, and since they're rebuilding at Chelsea, he's the perfect fit. Um, I don't know if I'm falling for the hype. Like I said, Pochettino came, did the best he could, especially towards the end of the season. I was surprised that they Todd Boehly didn't retain him, but hey, what can I say? And now they're bringing Maresca with, I mean, what he did in Leicester City, but is that enough to say that a club like Chelsea
mm,
that wants to be competing at the highest level in Europe would gamble on another bald-headed guy because he's protege of Pep Guardiola? It's a bit tricky. It's a bit tricky, but they're meeting for a face-to-face, so let's see how it works out for them.
mm. All right. Vincent Company has been chosen as the next Bayern Munich coach, but details on a contract still needs to be ironed out. And this is according to club supervisory board member Karl-Heinz Rummenigge.
Yeah, so so far they've agreed to settle Burnley with, I mean, 9 to 11 million, so that they can take their coach. That's a lot of baby food for a guy that's not been very tested. And they're saying that they want to really rebuild something, and they didn't like the way the last season ends. And instead of hiring another coach with a big name, let them start from scratch again. So they are agreeing that they're going the young way. I don't know. Again, I don't know what informed the company decision, because he was relegated with Burnley just this season. That's why I say people should trade away this your certificate, all this your hustle certificate. Go and get your FAB license. Because if Vincent Company, that's his name,
Mm.
um, can be hired by a traditional and a big club in Europe, by like Bayern Munich, with not much on his CV. In fact, there's relegation on his CV. Just the season before he's hired by Bayern Munich, then there's nothing you cannot achieve as a football coach. But it's a really tough one. I don't see how they did it. I understand wanting to go young, but I don't understand Vice Company, especially because you know what they say about coaching, you're as good as your last result, and his last result was to be relegated.
Oops.
And do you understand? So you now
Right.
bring him. It's, again, we'll see how this one pans out. But what it is, I mean, Carl Rummenigge is saying that it's all but a done deal. That means he's definitely coming. So let's see how this works out for him.
All right. And Manchester United forward Anthony Marshall will leave the club when his contract expires at the end of June.
I think the ridiculousness was when he said the end of an era. What era? My friend, just be going quietly. Should have even slithered out through the back door. after 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 the years you've had in Manchester United, where you were from zero to inconsequential, and you're now coming out to say the end of which era? So Tony Cruz will be celebrating end of an era. You too.
Oops.
And Tony Marshall will now be posting picture of end of my friend. Very careful in this world. But yeah, Manchester United needs to get rid of some players, and especially some players like him. And it's not surprising that he's not getting anyone, especially if they're still deciding. They're still deciding whether to keep. They're reviewing the Ten Hag season to see whether to keep him or to let him go. So if they are reviewing through the season, of course, Marshall has no place in that season. And if we are honest to ourselves, neither does Marcus Rashford. But hey, he's an English boy playing in Manchester United. You never know.
And he's doing good things for his
Eh,
community.
Which he
Stand
can
out.
do he can do those same good things playing for Bolton now. Doesn't have to do it in Manchester
Well,
United.
that that makes
All right,
sense.
let's take some of the messages.
Okay. Dr. M says, exactly when will Chelsea go on relegation? We reject it. I can guess next season. With Lukeman, Boniface, we should be fine. Meanwhile, a strange UCL final loading. Taya says Crouch didn't say what was reported. He was taking out of context. Infinity, we trust not to disappoint us. Mayawa says, good morning, ladies. The problem Ineos is having would be similar to what Man City and Girona have. Ima from Surulere says, imagine Nice facing Man U. Of course, the owner will tell one to lose to the other. That's match fixing. Will Chelsea get the slot if United is banned from Europa? AY from Oniru
They are
says,
not banning United. I've told you they will pick a favorite child, and we know who the favorite child is.
Chelsea went to go and hire Mascara as their new head coach. Yet another Baldy coming to the Premier League next season. Mohammed says, I'm still praying my wish for the NBA Finals comes true because this Mavericks dropping one game when they should have swept Timberwolves is really painful. Celtics didn't disappoint. I just hope that Kyrie doesn't disappoint me by losing this final. Chelsea is moving from frying pan to fire with these clueless owners. Oh, we missed the Russian. And that was me saying that, not Mohammed. Okay. LK Aderova says, Tega is absolutely right. Coaching in football is the one job that your CV does not matter. I can't fathom this company appointment to Bayern. Bayern, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Che. And that is LK lamenting. Chimobi Victor says, good morning, guys. With or without Thibaut Courtois, Belgium will not still win the Euro 2024. They don't have what
I
it
see a
takes.
curse.
Like, it sounds like it. LK says, Tega, what's your opinion on this Enzo guy? It's two steps behind, in my opinion. Why sack Poch to sign Enzo? Ernest says, if Victor Osimhen is injury prone, no big club will want him. He'll just be another hazard in Madrid. He should have left Napoli when the ovation was the loudest when he won the Scudetto.
He's not
Let's
injury prone. No. He's not injury prone. He just has one small. He's not injury prone. The other time they broke his cheekbone. That's not injury prone. That's accident.
Okay, accidents, they happen. Padre Pio says, here's my problem with Victor's injury, though. Just seeing him on the pitch, Africa's best player currently, is enough to make defenders wary. His been out means a more open game. Sad. And LK says, I get Tega. The reason I said I blame Tammy, Eze, Tomori, and co is because they would rather stay on the bench for England than play first team Nigeria. I get Tega, Sha. This message should be for
Which
the
bench?
great
They won't even see bench.
Marty.
Which bench? Did they even
They
call
go
them up?
nowhere.
Which bench? All right.
Let's
On that
see.
note, we are out of time.
Sorry, can I
Ah,
read
Zibby.
one last message? I
Okay.
had to
Okay.
apologize to Adegboyega earlier because I had to apologize to Adegboyega, but he seems to have accepted my apology. He says I would have to. Oh, let me just read out what he says. You would have to buy 7 kegs of palm wine, 7 cows from Katsina State, 7 bags of rice, 7 bags of beans, 7 kegs of palm oil and vegetable oil, and one Maybach for the gods not to be angry. Have a pleasant day. Thank you for
Just
forgiving me,
he wants
Adegboyega.
to open store. He should just tell you that he wants to open store, so he invests in the business. All right. On that note, thank you for sending your messages to Smooth 98.1 FM. Thank you for tuning in to us. Thank you for listening to our show. And remember, LIS is next week. Get your outfits ready. All right. On that note, have a great week till we see you again on Friday.